These are the 5 strategies that will get you 7 new clients in 14 days guaranteed. And none of it involves cold calling, running ads, or paying a single penny for leads. I'm going to give you the exact 5 moves plus a bonus move at the end that you can implement straight away. And once you've landed these 7 clients, you'll need to stop chasing the next 7. That's how effective the system is. Think about a good doctor. A good doctor never prescribes before they know what's wrong. Every strategy below starts with a question, because the moment you diagnose before you ask, you've lost the room. I'm Neeraj Kapoor. I've trained over 500 companies, including Terex, Exertis, Salesforce, Barclays. I've been awarded the official Top Voice in Sales Award by LinkedIn from November 2021 to 2026. I've been a Salesforce Influencer of the Year 4 years in a row. More importantly, I teach people how to sell with results every single day. My methods rely on human-centric psychology that actually converts. Let's dive in. I give sales teams hands-on training that builds the confidence, skills, and habits to close more deals. So once you implement this, you get better results, you get more confidence, you have more knowledge. That helps you sell more. As a business owner, that is fantastic on so many layers and so many levels. You work 9 to 5 for somebody else, it's great for your confidence, it's great for your commission. But even a great offer can get ignored if the person has never heard of you. So before you lean on messages alone, you need some visibility. Now, how often should you actually post? Well, and where should you post? I mean, you've got to post on a platform that your prospects spend the most time on making buying decisions. And in the B2B world, I'm going to focus on LinkedIn because that's the biggest in the B2B world. You don't have to post every day. I know people who post every day, twice a day. They don't really have a successful business, because successful people don't have time to post every day, twice a day, 3 times a day. They don't. They're running a business. Posting 3 to 4 times a week is absolutely fine. If you've never posted before, start off doing twice a week. Then after a few weeks, build to 3 times a week. And if you have time, do 4 times a week. It's always good to build things in steps. It's so much easier that way. Now, when do you write the content? I find the most valuable time to write content, the ones I've seen people have most success with, is first thing this Sunday morning or last thing this Sunday evening. Because you don't really have meetings or meetings about meetings. You don't have emails coming in non-stop. Turn your phone off, turn notifications off, spend 60 minutes. That's all. You can easily write 2 posts, sometimes even 3 posts. And that's what I do every week. 60 minutes on a Sunday morning. And that will give me 2, sometimes 3 posts. The 4th post I do tends to come from a post I did a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. I simply copy and paste it. That is called repurposing content. That is why all the content you do, save it into a Word document and simply use it every 6 months or every 12 months. It's a very easy way to write content. It saves you a lot of time. And the fact is, most people forget what you wrote 6 months ago. And if they didn't forget, and the post is really good, you simply remind them again. Now, what should you write about? Always write about the problems your prospects are facing right now. That is key. So my prospects are worried about how to sell in the LinkedIn DMs. That's what I talk about. They're worried about how to follow up and how often should they follow up. That is what I talk about. They're worried about writing content that may or may not get people engaged. I talk about that. I talk about the things affecting their business. That is how you get to the heart of sales. And it also moves the sales process along so much quicker. Now, in terms of formats, don't use the same format all the time. It gets boring. So 1 day a week, I'll do video. Video is the best form of lead generation. It's also the fastest way to build trust. 1 day a week, I will do a LinkedIn post with a photograph. And then twice a week, I'll do a LinkedIn post with just text only. Text only tends to do slightly better, but visually and aesthetically, a text post with a photograph, for me, it looks much better. So it's a good idea to mix it up. I do use infographics, every 2 to 4 weeks. It's absolutely fine. Have an infographic with a PDF as well. And always make sure you have a call to action at the end of your video graphic or the end of your infographic. Now, looking at reply rates, LinkedIn is the easiest way to build trust when you do it right. But most people don't do it right. They go to AI, get some advice, and they end up sounding like everybody else, and it doesn't help you if you do that, okay? Just say you reach out to somebody on LinkedIn. What do you think they do? Well, in most cases, they delete your message or archive it because it's not very interesting. But let's say you work with me and then you start to become good at doing outreach and it becomes better and better. What will happen then? Well, of course, they're going to reply. But before they reply, they're going to check your LinkedIn profile. They're going to see, is it optimized? Is it up to date? Do you have recommendations from this year, or is your last recommendation from 5 years ago? Because that does make an impact. They will have a look at posts you've written. They will also look at comments you've made as well to see the kind of person you are and the quality of your character. That is why getting all this right is so important for sales. People think sales is just getting into somebody's DM and talking to them. That's not selling. That's not good enough. Your profile has to be optimized. You have to write content that engages with people. They will look at your comments a lot of the time as well to see what you are saying and to look at the quality of your character and how you interact with other people as well. If you're a CEO working for Apple or a FTSE 100 company, the rules are slightly different. But I'm talking for most people, you need to have this in place. So now you've got a clear offer and online visibility. But your prospect maybe still doesn't know how you can benefit them or how you can actually help them. So next, you're going to get the actual outreach message right. Now, what are people looking for when they get an outreach message? Well, what do people care about the most? Themselves. Okay, so you got to write about them. But also you have to understand your prospect. They get bombarded with messages all day long on every platform. And if you sound like a salesperson, they're going to switch off immediately. If it sounds like AI has written this message for you, they will switch off immediately. So I look at what content they've been writing, if they have been writing on LinkedIn, and I'll refer to that. Now, only about 3 to 4% of people actually write on LinkedIn. So chances are they may not have written anything at all. In which case, go to their website and refer to a news story or refer to a blog. Give your take on it or give your insights on it. That makes it so much easier to approach people, and it makes it so much easier to sell to people because you have built your trust. Now, most people don't do this. Most people go in just cold and talk about themselves and ask for a meeting. That is a wrong way to do it. You will automatically put yourself in the top 1% if you look at somebody's profile, look at their website, and personalize your outreach. Not mass produce your outreach, not use automation to reach 100 or 200 people a day. That's not good enough. That's what everybody else is doing as well. But personalization makes a huge difference. It builds trust quicker, and that helps you get the sale. Well, don't use words like hey, use dear, and then the person's name. Don't say I hope this message finds you well or how are you, because that's what bad salespeople do. You don't want to sound like a salesperson. I just go in straight to the problem. I work with a lot of CEOs. They don't have time for how are you and I hope you're well. They want you to get straight to the problem. And that's what I do. So I will talk about a problem your industry is facing, and I'll share my insights and suggestions to make it better. Or if in a rare occasion I don't know much about your industry, because I work across so many industries, but if it's something I don't know much about, I will then share something about LinkedIn that will benefit you. Now, I will say something like, between 3 and 4% people post on LinkedIn, but 1 or 2%, comment and post and like posts, but most people do nothing. But the ones who post, they're the ones who make the business. I'd like to suggest a quick meeting to show you how to do that. That's just a really simple, non-evasive, and very effective way of sharing insights with people. I like to meet up and suggest how we do that. Not here's my Calendly link, not are you free 10 to 15 minutes on a Tuesday or a Thursday. Again, everybody else is saying that. But you know what? The idea of a meeting, the first meeting especially, is to get their interest. That's it. It is to get their interest. By doing this, you will get their interest. So, share something about their industry that will help them. So in the tech space, for example, I would say, look, I've worked with people at Salesforce and I've coached a lot of people there. And often they have to do as much as 30 outreach messages to get a result. I do it in less than 20. Sometimes as quick as 14. That saves you time, it reduces stress, it builds your confidence. You're working 9 to 5 for somebody else, that will build your commission. You own a business, that's going to make you very, very happy. And here are 1 or 2 examples of how I do that. And you share examples. You're giving people value. That gets them thinking, I should really be speaking to this person. It doesn't mean they'll hire you. It doesn't even mean they'll have a budget, but it's a very good starting point. But sometimes they'll even say, you know what, even if you already have a trainer, or even if you have no budget, it's worth us having this chat because you're going to learn quite a few things by speaking to me. And it means when you are ready, we can have a chat in the future. Again, most people don't do this. Most people try to go for the close. They don't get it. They lose it. They move on. But so much business takes time. Sometimes you get a lot of quick wins. Sometimes you get lucky as well. But sometimes business takes time. And sometimes you'll speak to somebody, but they're not ready for a month, 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months. Not every client is a quick win. Some of them just take longer. You'll be surprised at how quickly things move when you do this. You will stand out from everybody else. Will you still get ghosted from time to time? Yes, you will. Will people still ignore you from time to time? Yes, they will. That is sales. You do not convert 100%. Nobody does. So remember, people are busy. They won't always reply to the first message, no matter how good you are. That is why the follow-up isn't optional. So for the follow-up, I wait at least 3 days. Because people are not on LinkedIn every single day for a start. So you've got to give it at least a few days for them to log on to LinkedIn, look at the message, and have a think about it. Anything more than about 2 weeks is too much. A week's okay. I tend to wait 3 days. I also believe when it comes to following up on LinkedIn, your initial message in LinkedIn, 3 days later, follow up on LinkedIn. If you still haven't got a response, you can then send a video message or a voice note. I'm a huge fan of those because your tone, your energy, your enthusiasm, everything comes across so much better and it helps you stand out. Now, there are people who don't like voice notes, there are people who don't like videos, but you can't please everyone. I'm simply sharing what gets the best results. And after a few attempts on LinkedIn, I then move that to an email or to a phone call. I don't think of it as a cold call because I've already messaged you a few times on LinkedIn and sent the email, so the phone call is usually the 5th attempt. Now, what about a former client you haven't heard from a long time? Well, again, what's their favorite topic going to be? Themselves. Go to their website. What are they talking about? Look at a news story. Look at a blog. Look at a case study they have done. Talk about that first. Share some insight that's happening in their industry that can affect them, and say you've got a few ideas you'd like to share with them that maybe they hadn't thought about. And again, even if they have no budget or they already have a trainer in place, they'll still find it very useful to have a quick chat. Not 15 minutes on a Tuesday or Thursday. It's very informal. You're sharing insight. You're offering help. So without tracking what's actually working, you're going to keep making the same mistakes and never know why. So next, it's time to review and refine. So I review every lunchtime. I review my morning. And then every evening, I spend about 10 minutes reviewing. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means looking at what went well and continuing with that. It's also asking yourself, what could I have done better? People, when they're trying to sell their product or service, spend too much time blaming the prospect, blaming the economy, blaming timing, blaming summer, but you have to take responsibility yourself as well. You can't blame other people. You have to always ask, what can I do better? And that's why the reviewing process is so important, not once, but twice a day. Now, how many messages should you commit to? Well, it depends who you are, your job title, your position, and what industry you work in. You know, for a solopreneur, get out 5 messages a day. Because obviously as a solopreneur, you're doing hundreds of other things a day as well. Tech companies, you want to spend at least 3 to 4 hours a day prospecting. The rest of the time should be following up with your customers and writing proposals and updating your CRM. If you're a startup, the speed is ferocious. The startups I work with move so quickly. So you only doing this prospecting at least 5 to 6 hours a day. Because you're not really going to have that many clients as a startup. You tend to be chasing new business a lot. So I would say 5 to 6 hours a day is very good for that. So once the system is working, don't stop right there and leave free clients sitting on the table they've already earned. Here's how to add more without a single extra cold message. Okay, pro tip, getting referrals from existing clients. How do you know a client is right for a referral? Well, they're getting more messages returned. They're booking more meetings, they're generating revenue, their confidence is high. They'll most likely tell you this, but of course you should be asking themselves. Sometimes they might even offer you a recommendation or ask, how can I help you? Because when you do great work for people, they generally want to help you back. Now, the exact phrasing I use when I ask for a referral is, what was the experience like working with me? Did I over-deliver to you in any way? You should always be over-delivering to your clients. And what kind of results have you had so far? And you listen to what the person says, because they're telling you all the fantastic experience and news they have had working with you. And then once you've listened, you then say, who in your industry or who do you know that could benefit from my services? Not who can I sell to? Not give me 3 names right now, people I can approach and talk. No. Who in your industry or who do you know could benefit from my services? It's a very gentle way of asking for a referral, but more importantly, it's a very effective way of asking for a referral. Referrals do convert at least 5 times quicker than any cold outreach message because the trust is built there and it's being referred from somebody you know. So that is how you can land 7 paying clients in 2 weeks using nothing but a clear, personalized outreach and consistent follow-up. Now, before jumping into the outreach, you must generate the right prospects to reach out to in the first place. So go and watch this video where I break down exactly how to write content that speaks to your prospects' real problems.